Hey everybody, I'm doing the next few days in my 31 days of tarot. So we're on day 12 through 16 because I'm woefully far behind. So I'm going to do these all in one clip. I really should record a bunch and then just upload them every day. But that would make too much sense, right? So I'm going to do it this way. So 11 or day number 12 is what started you reading tarot and why did you continue to read tarot? So I don't really remember. So I know when I was in like 8th grade or 9th grade, so I was about like 13, 14 years old, I kind of got into paganism and witchcraft and all that stuff, and I kind of seriously started to study it. And by that I mean I went to Barnes & Noble and got every book I could find, which wasn't many. And I remember I think reading Buckland's Guide to Witchcraft, and he mentioned tarot cards. I'm pretty sure that that's where it came from. And I kind of just got the idea that I wanted to try it, and I've told this story a bunch of different times on my channel and Facebook, wherever, but I kind of saved up the money from my first paycheck, and I was 14 years old. I saved up the money from my first paycheck, and I went to, it was a Borders books in the mall, and bought them. So it was a wonderfully spiritual experience at a Borders in a mall. That's where I got mine, and I continue to read it because it has shown me many things about myself. It's something that kind of comes naturally to me, and not a lot of things do. Lots of things. I mean, I don't want to say I don't work on it. I work on it a lot. Pretty much every day I study something about tarot, but it's something that I've just felt very comfortable with, and enjoy very much. Love the psychological aspects of it. I also like the spiritual aspects of it, although that's not usually my focus. Is usually psychological, but yeah, so I continue to read it because it's just amazing. It's an amazing tool. I learn something new every day. How to do something different, how to read a card a different way, a different person's perspective. And I like that. I like that it kind of keeps me interested, keeps going. So number 13, what is your best, worst, memorable tarot moment? So the most memorable moment came when I had just started reading. So it was only a few years in, and a family member of mine was adopted and wanted to know about their birth parents, and they were having very much trouble trying to find the information out through the legal channels, and so he asked me to do a reading, and I did the reading, and I remember not remembering a lot. I kind of blacked out in the middle of it, and I remember this person was there, and their spouse was there, and my boyfriend at the time was there, and all I remember was telling them about a letter and telling them about some things that nobody else knew, and I remember my boyfriend telling me when we were done that he got scared and had to get up and leave. And while that sounds really like woo creepy and mystical, I don't know. I don't know where the information came from. I don't know. I certainly never really thought about it that much because it kind of freaks me out. And this was like 15, 18 years ago. It was a really long time ago. So and I never really kind of revisited that reading because I think it was the first time I figured out that I could know things I didn't know, and that's still to this day a weird thing for me. I don't know where it comes from. I don't try to explain it. It's just what it is. So question number 14 is share your favorite divination tool aside from tarot. That's my runes. This set I made when I was in high school out of clay. They're pretty thick. They're fairly uniform. You know, they're not 100%. But these are my faves. I use these all the time. I have a couple different sets. I have a wood set. I have a glass bead set that my friend Angie made me. Those freaking beautiful. But I use these most of the time. I'm sure you've seen them in some of my pictures. If you check out my Instagram, whatever, it's there. But I use the Elder Futhark runes. They're my favorite divination tool. I like oracle cards too, but that's my favorite. Do you have a deck for personal use only? Yes, kind of. I have used it to read for other people, but not generally clients. This is reserved for people who are close to me or important to me in some way. But I usually just use this for myself. I've showed this deck. I did a walkthrough of it. But the Tabula Mundi I use for myself only because I really just get so many interesting deep readings out of it that it's not really for other people. It's my baby. I love it. It's my kick me in the pants deck. We all have one of those, right? That kind of like tells us what we need to know, not necessarily what we want to know. The images are stark, so it's not like a hold your hand kind of a thing. So yeah, mostly for myself. I've used it very, very sparingly for other people. And then number 16, the ever-present question of do you read reversals and do you not? I do read reversals. If I am reading with Rider-Waite or Thoth or anything that is not Marseille. So I don't read reversals when I read Marseille. But normally I do because the why is because I learned that way. And it's not necessarily that I think a reversal is the complete opposite of card. Very often it's not. It really kind of just triggers my headspace to think of it in a different way. So, for example, the Eight of Wands, generally upright means movement, fast movement, stuff's going on. And if I see that reversed, I could say, well, things could just be moving slower, or something's preventing these things from moving. And while I could definitely get that from the card being upright, it just kind of tricks my brain into thinking of it in a different way, and I like that. So that's why I read reversals, and Lord bless you if you don't need that brain kick, but I do. So all right, so that was day 12 through day 16, and I don't know, maybe I'll record the rest of them and just load them up every day. We'll see. I'm such a lazy challenge doer. Love and light, guys. See you next time.